Hi everyone. Tonight I said I was going to talk with you about Donald Trump. And yet we are a sports website, a sports live stream primarily. Not that we don't talk about other issues, not that I don't like to talk about other issues, not that I won't talk, for example, about tech, but sports rules the roost, right? And in particular the Raiders and everything else. So, I love to be, the out of the box thinker, right? Scores. I love to upset the apple cart, right? I love to get people talking. And I thought about it. How do I introduce the subject of President Trump? He is our president. And not lose our Raiders fans. And I thought about it. Wait a minute. Donald Trump owned the New Jersey Generals. The same New Jersey Generals that had, if I'm not mistaken, Herschel Walker as their running back. Okay? And I thought, what better way to gauge the brethren's feelings about the president that we have right now with respect to the situation that we find ourselves in as Raider fans, than to put it out there that Donald Trump should buy the Oakland Raiders and keep them in Oakland and not Las Vegas. Mindful of the fact that, among other things, there is a Trump hotel in Las Vegas that theoretically may benefit from a Raider stadium there, but I haven't heard Trump say anything about it at all. Now, one of my viewers, Robert, says he would like that, okay? Another one said, no way, man, that's awful. Awful idea. But is it an awful idea because it's Donald Trump? Or is it an awful idea just because it's an awful idea? It really also allows us to continue talking about this situation. And it gets responses from people that, don't only reply, like Kurt Flirt, right? Would you believe that Kurt, and folks, for those of you who are watching this video, live stream, but can't see the chat, I'm referring to what a person will put up like right now on chat as Pedro says, and he's supposed to be on not only businesses. Well, he owns businesses. How about that? So how about that? And one of the big controversies in the White House right now is about how his family is not really out of the business picture, running the business, and yet still in the White House with a security clearance, right? So you've got a lot of responses here. By the way, love to have you as an investor, Clerk, since you've been on my site for some time now. And the way you can do that is via this link, this PayPal link, ideally. Invest right here. I'm trying to type invest and it won't let me. Hold on a second. It is being recalcitrant. If a web page can a web page be recalcitrant? I think so. Hey Octavio, how are you? Hey Kev KD says he's not supposed to run the business himself, but he can still own them. Right. He can still own them. Eric Madison says Trump would not keep the Raiders in Oakland because of the politicians in the Oakland/Bay Area. Give it to someone who would promise to keep the Raiders in Oakland. I think Donald Trump would make the promise to keep the Raiders in Oakland. He would do that if you gave him development rights around the Coliseum. You have to remember that Donald Trump is a developer, okay? You give him a deal. You give him a deal that he can put his money into and get something back. He's going to take that deal. And this would be a sweetheart deal because he would basically pick up where Fortress left off, take over the E&A that Fortress has, right? Just flip it over to him. He would spend the $800 million. The portion's already intact. He gets all the development rights. He could put his name on the hotels over there. Trump International Oakland, right? Think about it. Think about it. I mean, think about it. I may start something here, okay? So you think this is a joke. This is where movements start. I mean, real movements. So we've got, Kurt says, Cut the Pro 510 says, these traitors to our country, we don't need Trumps in the Bay, the crooks. Robert Coloran says, all his businesses are owned by his sons and daughters. But when he's out of his job, he has the right to do that. Yep. Cut the Pro 510 says, Trump keeping a promise. Are you kidding me? Octavio, how you doing, Octavio? How are you? Octavio don't want to talk about it, okay? So you want to talk to me about that? We can do it by email later, but I refuse to talk about that right here. And I think you got that by the email by the email I sent, okay? I'm really serious about that. Okay? Thank you. So, and I'm happy to talk with you about it on the phone or whatever, but not here. At all. No. So, Kev KD, Cut the Pro 510 laugh out loud, like he did with the people who worked for in coal. Mark Smith says, hey Zenny, are you going to have that college football talk? I am. Steve Collins says, great idea. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Kurt Fuss says, oh, what have I missed? Kurt, yeah, you missed a lot because it's the first time you actually chimed in on my show. I mean, I can't remember the last time you chimed in. Now, Kurt and I go back to the Obama days when he was an Obama fan. Kurt, believe it or not, Kurt was an Obama fan. But Kurt, as we got older, got more conservative. How did that happen, Kurt? I don't know. I'm wondering. So, Eric Madison says, well, maybe a hotel condos and transit center around the BART station. Yeah, exactly. And Cut the Pro 510 says, why doesn't Ronnie get the Raiders? Ronnie Lott, my assertion, in a sense, gave up and capitulated and has not fought with the rest of us. And I'm saying this with all the love and respect for Ronnie Lott I can muster, but telling a truth. He just kind of, for reasons I think having to do with Mark Davis and his relationship with the Raiders, folded. All right? He just kind of caved and just said, okay, well, Las Vegas is great. Oakland didn't try hard enough. Well, wait a minute. He was the recipient of the right to, think about this. He was the recipient of the right to negotiate on behalf of the city of Oakland with the Raiders and the NFL on a stadium. He has DNA to this day, and yet he's going to basically diss Oakland. That's essentially what he's doing, or has done. So it's like, wow, So Barry Lee says, hey, how you doing, Barry? Barry's out of power. Barry Lee says out of power. But I'm glad you're here. Ed Reed says, hey, Zen, I still think there's a backyard deal going on minus the mayor. And Steve Collins says, anything to save the Raiders. I feel that Mark Davis hasn't listened to anyone except Vegas for some reason. And I hope I answered your question, Cut the Pro 510. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Trying to. So, Kurt Ford says, yeah, I was an Obama fan, but it was due to color for the most part and family, but that shouldn't have been my reasons, though. It was all about the person in the end. And yeah, Barack was an outstanding president. Did you get a chance to meet him? Because you were really, in it, man. Dyed the wool. And, hey, Juan Ramirez, how are you? And Joseph Binsman says, good evening, Zenny. Good evening, how are you? Kurt First says, you're the only one that fights for the Raiders. I don't think they're going to do good in Las Vegas. Not only that, I don't think they're going to do well in Las Vegas, Kurt. I had to give you a little ribbing there. Now, Cut the Pro says, 510, it just seems like they don't care about us in Oakland. We are true fans, and it's going to be bad when the Raiders leave, if they leave, if only Al Davis were still here. Juan Ramirez says, Trump supporter here do. Trump supporter here do. You dislike Hillary. Okay, fine, but what about Donald Trump owning the Raiders and keeping the Raiders in Oakland? How about that? How about an executive order by the president stating that any team trying to leave a region must make sure that all debts that it is either responsible directly for or indirectly must be paid? How about that one? That would be a poison pill, man. Can you imagine Trump writing that kind of executive order, all right? So maybe we just shouldn't impeach him yet, right? Let's get this deal done, okay? Let's really put Art of the Deal out there. Let's write Art of the Raiders deal. There's the book, Art of the Raiders deal, okay? So, Cup the Pro says, I don't think he would cape here. John Davis says, say no to Trump. Joseph Binsman says, do you feel as bad for Charger fans as you loyal Oakland Raider fans? Well, I'm not. I do. I feel bad for NFL fans in general. And Joseph. Robert Colleran says, I don't think the fan base would be good either. And Ed Reed says, I still don't think they're going in. Ed, I don't either. I'm sorry. The economics of the deal don't work. And what better person to sweep in and do the deal than Trump? You know, I felt that Donald Trump should have built the World Trade Center. He had a plan to rebuild the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers in New York, as is intact. See, I've been there. A lot of you are younger. You were not alive when the World Trade Center, well, maybe you were, when the World Trade Center was built, because it was 2001, 2011, 2000. So some of you are, well, a lot of you were alive, what am I saying, but you were probably little. Let me put it this way. My mom took me to Windows in the World, okay? That was, Windows in the World. And in New York City. And that was way back when I was a teenager. I think it was 1977, I believe it was, 76, 77. Windows on the World was this incredible restaurant at the top of One World Trade Center. It was a dream come true to have dinner up there. So I remember the World Trade Center. I remember what it was like to walk into the giant lobby that was designed by Minoru Yamasaki, the architect of Minoru Yamasaki and Associates, excuse me. Beautiful building. If you wanted to understand the fear of God, you went right up to the World Trade Center and looked straight up. I'm serious. It was just that massive. It's just incredible, okay? And it's gone. I'm sorry, the current Freedom Tower will not replace the World Trade Center. And it's a crime against humanity. It really is a crime against humanity, but I digress. So, Kurt Foote says, I am so glad that Hillary didn't win, and also now think Trump should have just stayed a business guy. It would have been a better for him. Yeah. Joseph Binsman says, I live in New Jersey. Oh, cool. And know of the history of the towers. The last few years before 9/11, my parents and I were talking about going Windows on the World. Too bad we didn't get the chance. I can say I got the chance, Joseph, but we share that, and I love New York. I can say I've been to 21 more than once. I've been to 21 10 times. If I ever had enough money to live in New York, I'd live in New York, but that may never happen. At any rate, Kevin KD says, yeah, at least he knows the value of Oakland. Crawford 371 says, Trump did run USFL into bankruptcy. Yes, he certainly did. Which is why I think he would appreciate salvaging the Raiders. It would give him a second chance at a pro football team, right? Hey, he did it before. He made some mistakes. He learned from those mistakes. He's got more money. Do it again, right? Maybe he can, seed some of that Russian money in there. But I couldn't resist, okay? I could not resist. Kevin KD says, Mark Cuban won't try to chase every last dollar the way that Mark Davis currently is. Well, let's get one thing straight. In terms of wealth, there's Mark Cuban here and there's Mark Davis so far down you can't even see him. So we've got Octavio says, Raiders should have community owners or former players. Joseph Binsman says, I hear a bunch of the survivors of the restaurant staff opened up another restaurant elsewhere in New York City. Have to go try it out. Hey, tell me where it is, Joseph. I don't, have the time to look it up right now, but let me know right now where it is. 831 Scott, hey, how you doing? Says, just say no to Trump. Eric Madison says, also, the NFL didn't allow to buy the Bills. No, they didn't allow him to buy the Bills, but that's the whole point. He would have another bite at the apple. Kurt Flirt says, come on, there's no collusion. Nice try. Yeah, there's collusion. Eric Madison, Trump. Juan Ramirez says, nice, Zinni. Robert Colleran says, Zinni, Do you think that Trump could have an interest in buying the Raiders? Yeah, I actually do. I actually do. I actually do believe he could be enticed to buy the Raiders in this situation. Now, can he do it as president? Is another. Well, he can't do it as president, but he could definitely dispatch his kids to, look into it. I would think. I mean, they're running around running his businesses anyway, right? So, yeah. And so Joseph, Kurt Fuller says, no. But he wants to know where the restaurant is too. Joseph Bensman says, I will look it up. Trump is pathetic. Juan Ramirez says, at least Trump will remove that lame media covering the Raiders. That's true. That's true. Donald Trump will be the best thing that ever to happen to the Oakland Raiders, if you think about it. Better than Sheldon Adelson. Hey, wait a minute. He knows Sheldon Adelson. But see, he could say to Adelson, hey, you know what? Let's just really help me keep them in Oakland. I can make a great deal here. I understand what you want to do there. But, let's just try this experiment here. Of course, that, I got to rethink that one. Nah, I'll stick with it. What I was thinking about is Sheldon might whisper something to his ear like, hey, pal, I got some money you don't have. You know what I mean? We're back to where we were before. Now we'll make him sign a contract. We'll make him an offer he can't refuse. What that offer is right now, I don't quite know. I'm thinking as I go along. So anyway, Joseph says, to think people actually thought Hillary would be worse off than this is pathetic. Yeah, it is. And that's why we have to fashion a second career for Donald Trump. And I say it should be NFL team owner, right? Because the way he's going, it's just a matter of time before he gets, booted out of the White House. And I mean the boot's going to be really massively big, okay? So the only way Donald Trump could salvage himself is if he were to turn into a Democrat overnight, like that. Because the Republicans wouldn't know what to do because they would be in a dilemma where it would say, oh my God, he's a Democrat. No, he's us. But, oh my God, we can't, oh my God. And the Democrats would be like, yeah, right? That would be the only way. He would have to renounce everything he said, almost. I will say one thing about the whole Confederate statue deal, and it's this. And look, I remember when people wanted to take Huckleberry Finn out of school. You can't hide history from people because it's bad. What we need are far more statues celebrating civil rights figures than we have. We don't have enough of them. But to run around trying to take them out, I mean, look, they are bad symbols of slavery without question. But how come this wasn't a conversation 10 years ago or 20 years ago, right? All of a sudden, all right? I'm not concerned about how far you go. My only point is this. I don't like whitewashing history. I think, okay, that's my only point. My point is we need to celebrate the civil rights figures that need statues. I mean, how many statues of Harriet Tubman are there around? Do you know? How many statues of, for example, the Dean Shack? Who's Dean Shack? Robert A. Shack was the dean, the first black dean of the University of California, Berkeley. Okay, Dean Shack. Okay, excuse me. First white. Okay, so my point is, right? I want a statue of Dean Shack. Serious about that. Who's a pioneer? We have statues of other people around Berkeley. Why not? Why not Dean Shack? I don't know. I can't think of a single black person that's celebrated in Berkeley like that, who has a history. Okay, so there's my take on that. Now, we've got Rick Rice says, not trolling. You think nobody likes Trump? He won the election, right? Robert Coleman says, if Donald Trump did it by the Raiders and invested the money in a team, it would probably be very good. I think it would be excellent. And I mean, let's place it. He would put a brand on it like you never saw before. Now, Rick Rice says, I love Trump. He's done more for work than Obama did. You're nuts. Look, Rick Rice, the only thing, and I say that lovingly, but the simple fact of the matter is you cannot say that with a straight face. I mean, it's great for internet chatter, and it gets the people riled up, and it brings traffic to me, which I thank you. I'd love to have you an investor, but the whole point is, That is not true at all. I mean, you know that as well as I do. That's not even that's not even a debate. Okay, just invest. Ed Reed says it doesn't make sense, then, based on your economic expertise and others that have experience in the field of economics, urban economics. This so-called deal is a joke. Vegas doesn't want them. No, they don't act like they do. And the economics are very horrible because, again, they're trying to fit a stadium of 65,000 people in an area that arguably could accommodate a stadium maybe 35 or 40,000 people. Ooh! You know what? It may very well be that that a number of people are aware of that and just waiting for the Raiders to cry uncle and say we can't afford this, and they'll hand it over to UNLV. Which means the Raiders will be ripe to be purchased by Donald Trump. Because at that point, Mark Davis will want to sell. All right? There you go. So, do I like the Young Turks? Yes, I do like the Young Turks, and I like to build this into something like the Young Turks catered towards sports in the NFL, right? Yeah, so I do like the Young Turks. Joseph Binsman says, yeah, Trump has squeezed the Secret Service budget dry. Obama didn't do that. No, he didn't. And Joseph goes on to say, no problem, Kurt. I have to try it sometime. Kurt Frost says, Joseph, thanks. I have heard of porterhouse steak. And Rick Rice says, people don't come out and say they support Trump. Obviously, they are out there, though, since he won the election. That goes without saying. But better than Obama? I'm sorry. There are people who voted for Trump because they didn't like Hillary Clinton. All right? There are a lot of people out there that just didn't want Hillary Clinton as president. Now, Joseph Binsman says, the new restaurant in New York City, run by the former chief/director of the Windows of the World, is called Porterhouse New York. Oh, Porterhouse. Okay, thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Gotta check it out in New York. And Rick Rice says, Trump has cut down our deficit. It was never... No, actually he hasn't. He's been in office 6 months. He hasn't done anything. Now, you do realize that, right? You do realize he hasn't done anything. Okay? He just has been in office, what, 6 months? He hasn't fashioned any special legislation. He hasn't gotten anything passed at all. So, no. So, let's see. And, no, we were wrong about the deficit thing. Joseph Binsman says, to me, people gambled this last election, they didn't vote. Although, why gamble on someone like Trump? Yikes. But I'm glad you mentioned the term gamble, because that's why I don't think it's a gamble for Donald Trump to buy the Oakland Raiders. So, thanks, Miguel. Yeah. Now, John Davis says, both sides equals the government grows, and we, the taxpayers, pay for it. So, we've got, let's see here. Henry Flores is here. Henry says, it hits me in the heart. Everybody, wherever you go, everybody loves the Raiders. The mystique, it's amazing. My real goal is to perpetuate the legacy of my father. Henry Flores, that was a quote from Mark Davis. Yeah. And, you know, you got to believe that Mark, on the one hand, spiritually knows he's making a mistake, but now economically, he really knows he's making a mistake. Because these bills are going to come due, and come May, I predict, he's going to steer out a project that he is going to find to be, even from the perspective of construction, massively over budget. All right? He's going to wish he didn't break ground. You heard it here first, okay? He's going to wish that. He's going to wish for Trump to come in and save him from this. Because Adelson won't. And that's why Adelson, you know, Trump ought to keep it in Oakland. You know? So, yeah, we know Rick Rice says Trump's not taking a salary. He canceled the new Air Force One. Actually, he did not cancel it. That's not true. He's trying instead of getting into the yes man. Rick Rice, I'm on the White House press list. Hello. Air Force One was not canceled at all. It was renegotiated for a slightly smaller amount. Not much. I give him credit for trying, okay? But we need a new Air Force One. That's I mean, have you ever seen Air Force One in person, Rick Rice? I'm just asking. Have you? Yes or no? Have you seen Air Force One in person? Don't it says Trump as a Raider owner? God help us all. LX9933 says it's true that even if Mark sells the team, Raiders locked into Vegas? Not yet. Not yet, because the documents all have not been signed, and we haven't reached the May drop dead date yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. So, Kurt First says, is there anybody who can stop this nonsense from happening in Oakland? Yeah, Donald Trump. But also, the people working on the legal response are in the best position to put the brakes on this nonsense, in addition to the NFL owners themselves. Rick Rice says Trump has his own plane. He's a boss. Kurt First says, India, got that one. 831 Scott, hey, says Trump's golf trips and vacations that he said he wasn't going to take are costing Americans millions. Yep, and not only that, he doesn't understand what it means to run the government. And that's, I think if there's any lesson to be gotten here, among the American electorate, and I am concerned that the electorate doesn't get it, but that, look, there is an advantage to being a junior senator or congressperson. And what is that advantage? You understand the inner workings of government and how to get things done. Donald Trump not only doesn't know how to do that, he didn't know how to put the right people in his cabinet to assure that. And then his response when something goes wrong isn't to reach in the bowels of government and fix it via surrogates. It's to go on a campaign trail and say ridiculous things. So he doesn't get that the government, being president is a profession unto itself. That's the point. We have been mesmerized with this idea that anybody can be president, but I think as you're seeing right now, not everybody can be president. You need to go through the mill of being a congressperson or a senator first. Even though it's not written, that's the idea, okay? So Woof Woof says, who's financing the lawsuit? Will that be finalized before the JPA? Don't know yet. Kurt First says no volume. That's odd. Can everyone else hear me? And so Miguel says, can he better not pardon our bio? And Rick Rice says Obama played golf 13 times when he was here in Hawaii. I met him. Nice guy, but has played way more golf than Trump. No, actually he has not. In fact, I'm glad you said that, because Rick Rice, you have a tendency to say these things, and someone looks like, let me see, let me type this. Who played more golf as president over the same time? I say the same time because, Barack's been in for 8 years. That's a lot of golf. But Obama or Trump. So you have to, kind of do the averaging, right? Obama or Trump. That's what I'm trying to figure out here, okay? Who plays more golf, Donald Trump or Barack Obama? And as of August 1st of this year, PolitiFact steps right up to provide the answer. Who plays more golf, Donald Trump or Barack Obama? And the post was updated August 1st of this year. For years, President Trump criticized, his predecessor Barack Obama for, I'm just killing this sound thing, for playing golf while on the job. Can you believe that? With all the problems and difficulties facing the United States, President Obama spent the day playing golf. He tweeted on October 13th of 2014, all right? And, but since taking office, Trump has been a regular visitor at his own golf clubs in Florida and Virginia, so far outpacing Obama in the amount of time he spends on the green. As Trump's presidency goes forward, we'll keep a tally of how many times he plays golf and how that compares with Obama at the same point in his presidency on what we're calling our Trump Golf Tracker. The score so far, year one, Trump Golf Tracker, Obama 11 times, Trump 21 times. So you're wrong, Rick Rice. You're wrong. There you go, Rick Rice. You're wrong. You are wrong. Woo-hoo. Wrong, man. Hey, John Marks, how you doing? How you doing? No, I did not win the Powerball. I got the Powerball number though. They owe me $4. So so where you at, Rick Rice? How you like me now? How about that? How you like me now, Rick Rice? Yeah. So Rick Rice got nothing to say now. Talking all that big talk. Yeah. Talking all that big smooth talk about Obama, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Trump 21, Obama 11. Donald Trump has played golf 21 times, and it's not even a year into his presidency. Obama 11 times. Okay? Donald Penn is back. Yeah, it's good. Well, he better play like he's back. I still say Cam Robinson should have been the choice over Gainey and Conley. All right? There we go. All right? So, yeah. So, Ramirez says he needs some blank money. There's Rick Rice says I was responding to someone else's statement. But, Rick, you were wrong. Okay? You were wrong. Emmy says he's going to cry, Zenny. Be careful. He's talking about you, Rick Rice. I'm just kidding. I'm not. But, Rick Rice, you got to admit you stepped right in it. Okay? And it's no liberal. Rick Rice is asking me what liberal website did I find. And I'm glad you asked, Rick Rice, because you stepped right in it again. No liberal website. Say that 3 times fast. It's called PolitiFact. PolitiFact is a political checker. I actually happened to meet the guy who created PolitiFact at the Democratic National Convention. I interviewed him. No. He is not liberal. He is not conservative. Notice I went left and I went right, right? Kind of giving you the... There you go, okay? Wow, cool. So, hey, Rick Rice, you're wrong, all right? You're wrong. You're wrong. You're just wrong, all right? Wrong. Now suck it up and invest in Zenny62 Media. Right there. You're wrong. Kurt Fuller says, I feel like everything involving Trump has gotten more... will be magnified. Yeah. And so Steve Collins says Trump's gotten more done so he has more time to play golf. He hasn't done anything. 21 times? Come on. I think it's the reverse, actually. He spent so much time playing golf, he hasn't had time to do much other than play golf. And by the way, you do realize, don't you, that he's playing golf at his own country club, which what? It gives that country club more visibility, which makes more money for the country club, which makes more money for who? Him. Okay? Just letting you know that. And this is happening on the taxpayer dime because the Secret Service, which is paid for by us taxpayers, has to protect him, as well as the 40 other people in his entourage. Just saying. Okay? Zen, what would you buy if I had the Powerball? What would I buy? Oh, I'd save a lot of it. I'd invest a lot of it. I would invest a ton of it. I really would. I would go back to Oakland and I would solve the homeless crisis. Rick Rice says, I'm talking about when he was in office. Not wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong, Rick. We're talking about when Obama was in office versus Trump. Rick Rice, you're wrong. Say that 3 times real fast. Rick Rice, you're wrong. Rick Rice, you're wrong. Rick Rice, you're wrong. Rick Rice, you're wrong. I did it. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. So, Joseph Bensman says, can't believe we went from the Cuban Missile Crisis to let's be friends with the Russians. Yeah, I know. Isn't that wild? Please. This last election, the Russians proved. Yeah. John Mark says, I hope pro-Vegas people see this, but fake people live in Vegas. Real people live in Oakland. And Benjamin says, this last election, the Russians proved they're no friend of ours. No. The Russians proved, for all practical purposes, they want to own us. 831 Scott says, Zenny, what is your point of view on the Confederate monuments being taken down? Like I said, I'll say it. I said it earlier. I'll say it again. I don't believe that Huckleberry Finn should be banned in our schools. I believe what we need, so because of that, I don't think that we should necessarily go around taking down every Confederate symbol that there is, because it's a part of our history. It is an ugly part, unquestionably. But I don't think we need to leave things as they are. What I believe is that for every Confederate symbol, we need to have next to that symbol a civil rights hero. Every city that has a Confederate symbol should take time and money to put up monuments to local civil rights heroes, people that may not be known, or certainly are not known, among the locals. I guarantee you that in every city, there's someone that played a major role in that city in advancing the cause of equal rights, of civil rights, that has went to this day unsung. No statue for that person. That's what we need. We need to be reminded of something that President Lincoln said in the Gettysburg Address when he talked about the hard facts that created America. I repeat, the hard facts that created America. We're not going to really know our country if we shield ourselves away from some of those hard facts. That's just my view. Now, that said, do I understand why there are those who want them torn down? Absolutely, I do. But I believe more time should be spent creating monuments rather than destroying them. And if people are divided on this, I'll bet you the one way to bring everybody together is by saying, yes, let's build more civil rights monuments. We don't have enough of them. I'll repeat, we don't have enough of them. Part of the reason we don't is because of the relative youth of the civil rights movement compared to, the Civil War and everything else, right? That's a big part of the reason. So we need to equalize things from the standpoint of creating monuments. That's my view. All right. So thanks, John. John Mark says he agrees. And Donut says Malcolm X. Yes, Malcolm X. Absolutely. But see, Donut, I'm glad you asked that. Your response proves my point. Again, I said that there are civil rights leaders in local areas that to this day have remained unsung. You know who Malcolm X is, and you thought out because you have an opinion of Malcolm X. But I'll bet you don't know anything about any of the civil rights leaders where you live. Let's take Oakland, for example. Where is the statue that supports a person like our first black school superintendent in Oakland? Okay, I think we have one. Marcus last name. All right, I think we have a number of things named after him, but a big statue. Or how about people that helped him and worked with him along the way? How about a statue of Kurt Flood in Oakland? I don't know that we have one. Kurt Flood's a major figure in sports. Kurt Flood lived in Oakland, so why not Kurt Flood? There are a number of examples I can give. A number of them. See, you talk about like Shirley Chisholm, someone you know. But I'm challenging you, each one of you, to think of somebody that is local to where you live, that has no monument, but played a role, that isn't known nationally. Okay? That's what I'm talking about, all right? Who's Ed Roberts? Okay? Donut said Ed Roberts. Who's Ed Roberts? Tell me. Educate me. John Mark says, Huey Brown needs a statue outside the Oakland courthouse. Black Panther Party. I think you mean Huey Newton. John Marks. Huey Newton. But again, people that you haven't heard of. Not people you've heard of. But people you haven't heard of, because there are a number of statues of Confederate leaders. I've never even heard of these guys. I'm like, who did that come from, right? But they played a role in different geographic areas. Similarly, there was someone that played a role in the civil rights movement in those same areas that has no monument about them. That's what I'm talking about. So, Marcus Foster, thank you. And Bali says Marcus Foster is shut down. We need a statue for Marcus Foster. And, oh, Ed Roberts is disabled civil rights. Excellent example. Thank you very much, okay? Thank you. Thank you. No, LX9933, he meant Huey Newton, not Huey Brown. In fact, that's Hubie, not Huey. You're talking about Hubie Brown of the NBA. No. Hubie Brown. Hubie. And Joseph Binsman says, in my opinion, the North did not truly institute a true reconstruction of the South. Had the North done so, it would have been unimaginable for there to be Confederate monuments. Yeah. And so, Juan Ramirez says, when the Las Vegas deal crumbles, welcome if you're just joining us. We're having a lively discussion around the idea of Donald Trump buying the Oakland Raiders. When the Las Vegas deal crumbles, a statue of Zinni needs to be built outside the courthouse. Thanks, man. That's funny. I don't know what Kurt Flirt feels about that. He goes, yeah, you could build more civil rights monuments. Hey, by the way, thank you for the investment. Rosa Parks, let's see here. John Davis says, nice message. Don't focus on the bad, focus on the good. Yeah, John, that's all I'm saying. You know, that's all I'm saying. We have so much negative going on here. We have to really stop this and really chart a way forward. And I believe the way forward is to really do an inventory of all of our civil rights leaders, particularly with respect to us as black African Americans. I understand, Donis, you're disabled. I understand what you're getting at. But the focus is black folks, because we were enslaved by those who backed the Confederacy. So there needs to be an equalizing there. So again, there's got to be somebody. I know there's someone in cities, a number of cities, that played a role in the civil rights movement in that area that has not been celebrated in any kind of way, other than mentioned in a book somewhere. So, Octavio says, Tom Flores. John Mark says, is Donald Trump buying the Raiders for real? Well, I don't know yet, man. I'm putting it out there. In fact, you know what? Hey, Barry Lee, are you around? Well, Barry. I think Barry said he had to leave, but Barry, is anyone on Twitter around here right now? Just give me a yes. Jim Plunkett. Oh, Joseph Binman says, what? Reverend William Barber of North Carolina is awesome. Know him. I do not know of him, Mr. Binman. No, I don't not. I do not know of him. Educate us. Educate me and us. Educate me and us. I am, in fact, going to have some fun. I am actually putting this tweet about our discussion on, guess what? On the website, on the Twitter account of Donald Trump with a photograph. Yeah, I'm going to double down. So if you're around and can do so on Twitter, go and give it a retweet, okay? Give it a nice retweet, okay? I'm serious about that. I'm very serious about that. I'm not digressing. I'm very serious about that. By the way, Coog Snap bought the first Zenny 62 t-shirt under But I Digress. Thank you, Coog. Very, very much. I'm looking down here because I'm looking for the proper photograph for this tweet that I'm going to put out here. And it's going to be a doozy. Heck, it might even get mentioned on television. But my point is, I'm trying to find this doggone thing, and it's like, what I'm trying to find is a, photograph or something like that would, I got an idea. I'll use Forever Oakland. Ta-da. Yeah. I put the Forever Oakland banner on Donald Trump's Twitter account just right now. It is uploading, and bam! You want to see it? Check this out. You get a laugh out of this one, folks, I think. Ta-da! Okay? Donald Trump should buy the NFL's Oakland Raiders to end Las Vegas. Forever Oakland. that a primal scream or what? If you're on Twitter, please retweet that. Oh my God. Oh boy. Rick Rice says, I'm sure he's going to read that, Zinni. He better. Henry Flores says, not really my T.O., but I call him that. When I meet him in person, I had to sign, what was he saying, excuse me? Someone should Photoshop a flyer of Trump buying the Raiders and building a stadium in Oakland. That's a good idea. Henry Flores says, not really my T.O., but I call him that. When I first met him in person, I had him sign my favorite nephew. And Kurt Furt says, Zinni, laugh out loud, you're going to get him into another controversy. Yes! Yes, I am! That's the idea, Kurt! That's it! That's it! That is it! I'm trying to drag Donald Trump kicking and screaming into a new controversy involving the Raiders. You are absolutely correct. Keep the Raiders in Oakland. He can do it. Buy the Raiders. That's what I want, okay? Just, just kind of, turn the impeachment clock down a little bit. Let us get this done. Or, yeah, let his family buy the Raiders, okay? Change a couple of laws so that we really choke off the idea of, these sports teams moving around all over the place. Have them right in there, do a couple of deals with the hotels and all that, and we'll be right off to the races. Absolutely, you're right. I'm starting some crap, man. You're right about that. If you're a part of the mainstream media, I want you to ask Donald Trump about my idea of his buying the Raiders. That's your assignment at the next press conference. In fact, you know what? I'm going to ask the White House press people to do that. Hey, ask them about that story I heard about Trump being interested in the Raiders. So, yeah. Donis asked me, does a Confederate flag offend me? Yeah, it does. I think it's because of the reason it's... Let me put it this way. I was a big Dukes of Hazzard fan. Anybody out here remember Dukes of Hazzard? All right. Anybody? Anybody? John Marks might remember them. All right. You okay? Do you? All right. Mark Smith asked me, do I think Sean McVay can help Jared Goff this year? Let me get back to you on that one. Octavia remembers it. Make the Raiders great again. Okay. Dukes of Hazzard was this great show. And it had the General Lee, the car, right? General Lee was a great car. It had, the reason I watched it a lot was Daisy. Remember Daisy? I forgot who played Daisy. Was it, who played Daisy? Let me look that up here now. Dukes of Hazzard. Dukes of Hazzard. Because it's actually worth showing some of the younger folks on here what, the Dukes of Hazzard was all about, right? Catherine Bach. Thank you, Henry Flores. Catherine Bach. Yeah. Catherine Bach. Now, let me show you a photograph of the Dukes of Hazzard, all right? And this is what I was used to seeing. This is what I grew up with. Watch this, okay? This is the Dukes of Hazzard. Right there, all right? Now, what is that? Okay? What is that? She's on top of. And that's the General Lee, all right? Okay? And there's the Dukes of Hazzard there with, no obvious symbol. All right? Here, okay? This was another one with Catherine Bach, right? But I just watched it, there you go. For the obvious reasons, all right? And, Dukes of Hazzard logo, right? Okay? And it's a GIF. Okay, so you get the idea. It's Tom Mulford, who's gotten some trouble lately. But you get the idea, all right? My point is this. It never once occurred to me that they were racist. It was never presented as I watched the show. Maybe if I watched the show now, I'd see something I didn't see before. But I watched it all the time, and I never got the message that they were racist. So I didn't get put into my head the idea that showing the Confederate flag was in and of itself an expression of racism. None of that happened until the last 6 years. And only over the last 6 years have we had people, Americans, use the flag as an expression of racism. people who are in their 20s, white and in their 20s, for the most, I'm saying most part, maybe one exception of like 2000, right? Who use the symbol knowing that it's bad and knowing, because that's what it conveys. That's what they want it to convey. But when the Dukes of Hazzard was coming on, it was an expression of the South, right? Southern culture, which white Southerners didn't want to be regarded as racist, even though, race problems have been here for I don't know how long. So that's my point, all right? So, but again, I only watched it for Daisy Duke. I mean, I wasn't concerned about what she was resting on. Okay, I really wasn't. That was not even in my head. And yeah, when they honked the horn, it was Rebel Bugle Call. And right, John Davis says, more misunderstood. Henry Flores says, does any have a question? Was Bear Bryant a racist? I have some conflicting stories. I don't know. I didn't know the man. And John Davis says, yeah, I love Dukes of Hazzard, but parents did not like Daisy Duke. Gee, I wonder why. So, as Octavio Harris says, the shorts. Henry Flores says, Zinni. Oh, I got that one. Yeah, the Daisy Duke shorts. And they're called to this day, what? Daisy Dukes, right? Boy. And the Dodge Charger, which actually sadly was used in modern parlance in Charlottesville, right? If I were Dodge, I would have moved heaven and earth to separate my brand from that symbol. But they left it alone, untouched. I don't think that's a good idea. Kurt says, yep, it was one of my favorite shows growing. So, get back to Mark Smith's question. Do I think Sean McVay can help Jared Goff this year? I have to see what he does, because I'm not, as Sean McVay himself said, this is his first outing, and I'm not convinced that he has anything of a schematic advantage, or he brings any approach that's an obvious schematic advantage that will cause me to say, yeah, that's it, all right? We're not talking about Tony Franklin. Who's Tony Franklin? Tony Franklin was the now former offensive coordinator who is now with Eastern Kentucky and developer of the Tony Franklin system of offense that powered Cal for the first years of Sonny Dykes' tenure at the University of California, Berkeley as head coach. His offense set records. Very exciting. I love the Tony Franklin system, all right? And in fact, you know what? It would be great to get Tony Franklin on here for a show. I'll work on that. So my point is, that's the system Jared Goff playing in. And if you were going to tell me that Sean McVay was going to bring in Tony Franklin, I'd say, yeah, the Rams have a shot at the playoffs. Absolutely. Tony Franklin's approach needs to be tried in the NFL. I think it would shock a lot of people. I thought Bill Musgrave, when he was offensive coordinator for the Raiders, was going to do that, but he only brought in, plays. He didn't bring in the system. If he had used the system, the Raiders would have been impossible, or as my mom would say, out the door. So we've got Steve Collins says Daisy Dukes. We're back to Daisy Dukes. Kerfoot says they were racist. Actually, this has been mentioned. Is that right? Talking about the Dukes of Hazzard. Octavio Arias. Interestingly, the John, I forgot. Let me get the Dukes of Hazzard cast, because you say they're racist. I guess you mean in terms of the depiction of the South. I don't know what you mean there. But the reason I say that is because one of the stars is employed by none other than Tyrone, the creator of Medea and the Haves and the Have-Nots, who has this giant studio in Atlanta, whose show I just watched the other night. And I've got to go and find his name here. But what I'm looking up is Dukes of Hazzard. What's going on with my Tyler Perry? Thank you, Tyler Perry. Boy, what a brain freeze! But at any rate, the brain freeze. Yeah, what a brain freeze! The Dukes of Hazzard ran from 1979 to 1985, and it starred Tom Ropat, John Schneider, Catherine Bach. Now, John Schneider is in The Haves and the Have-Nots. Okay, hey, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. And Catherine Bach still looks great today. She was born on March 1st, 1954. Yeah, she's older than me. In Warren, Ohio, as Catherine Bachman. She was previously married to Peter Lopez and David Shaw. So there's a full bio. I don't know what she's doing now. Her last work was in, well, last year. She played My Best Friend, a TV movie. She played Pearl. She's had consistent work. She was in Hawaii Five-0 as Amy Harlan. That was in 2015. She was in The Book of Fire. She was on The Young and Restless as Anita Lawton. I didn't realize. I gotta see a picture of her now because I didn't know Catherine Bach was still active. And she is more than active. She is very active. And so, see an image. She is 63 years old now. And still looks fantastic. That was 2011 Pink Party there. Let's see here. It is trying to get as much of a 2017. Okay, and yeah, this is Catherine Bach today. As of 2016. This is Catherine Bach today. There she is. That's Catherine Bach today. And this is another photograph of her. That's 2017. Okay. This is her HLN event. That's her again, HLN. That's her again. So, hey, 63 years old, not bad. Not bad at all. Boy, especially considering she's 63. It's pretty good. So, there you go. Now, and Aaron Blaylock says, do you find it strange that after the biggest tragedy of the murders of those black church members, they buried the story and made some anti-Confederate movement? No, I don't find that strange at all because of Dylan Roof. Aaron, you have to blame Dylan Roof on that. He put the flag out there. And that's what I was saying. I think you just came on that, to me, because of the way the flag was not presented, all right, that, look, it wasn't until the last 6 years that the Confederate flag became a hard race issue because it was presented among young white men primarily in their 20s. And there's something going on about that generation where they feel they have to be that way. Where that comes from, I don't know. I really don't know. But I do know that it's there, and it's silly. It's like, of all the things to do with your life, why would you want to incite people in that way? That's weird. So, but prior to that, I never gave it any thought. Again, I watched Dukes of Hazzard for one reason. Daisy Duke. So, and I say that with pride. Yes, I say that with pride. So, and as Henry Flores has just said, she still looks hot with two T's. Yes, she does. And Aaron Blaylock says this whole Confederate flag thing is just a feel-good thing for left-leaning whites. They don't care about real racism. I disagree. The Confederate flag issue is a reaction to how young whites who call themselves conservative have been presenting it. All right? So no. Again, where that came from, I don't know. But the bottom line is, to present it in someone's face is wrong. And that's what's going on. That's what's going on a lot. But it's also why I say Donald Trump needs to own the Oakland Raiders. I gotta stay on that, all right? Trump needs to own the Raiders. But it's funny how, well, actually, you know what? It's not. Think about this. what is really what should really concern people is how, and I'm glad I did this because I wanted to see where conversation would go if it wasn't obviously on Donald Trump, but rather Donald Trump buying the Raiders, where it would go. Notice how it canted toward race? That shows you how bad this whole situation is. You kind of took the bait, didn't you? Right? 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 You see? See? So, Kurt Flirt says, people.com, Crime Dukes of Hazzard actor. Interesting, okay? I'll check that out, Kurt, thanks. Octavio says, when people don't have anything to lose, they attach themselves to extremist ideas, like terrorism. Interesting. Interesting. Or Octavio, is that because they have felt like they lost something or they can't gain it? 831 Scott says, it seems like since the age of the internet, hate groups have been able to brainwash and recruit more people. They target young people and sadly it's working. I think part of that is how younger people consume their information. And it tends to be more online and via apps and phones than not. You have to remember, a lot of people, well, it's like this. The younger you are, the less likely you are to have a television, let alone basic cable. And the problem is that you don't get the oneness of a message from media that we got when we were growing up. We had, when I first was born, we had 3 television stations. We had ABC, CBS, we had ABC, CBS, NBC, and UHF. That was 1962. We went from 4 to, what, 1,000 now? And then now we've got thousands of titles on Netflix and Hulu and YouTube, which has billions of items of content. So we went from 1962 in that little vessel to this gigantic vessel that we have today. Whoa! Okay, big difference, big difference. So, Ivan says, is there a white supremacist rally in Berkeley tomorrow? Don't know. But again, have you all, because no one's acknowledged this by your chats. So this makes me wonder, what's going on up here? Because I explained that I wanted to see where this conversation would go if I took an unorthodox approach to talking about Donald Trump. You guys went for a race. I didn't push you there. You went for a race. You see what I'm getting at? What does that say about your president? The president of the United States. John Mark says, what happens if Mark Davis announces a new Oakland Stadium deal? Watch pro-Vegas people revolt. Well, what'd they do? Nothing. They could do nothing. I think you would find really quick just how few in number the pro-Vegas people amount to. Yeah. And Aaron Blakely says, the thing with technology is you can often choose your programming, whatever you're into, 24/7. Jordan Yancey says he's not my president, Aaron, but none of you has answered my question. Dang it. Dang it. I mean, and my question is, how does Cal look this year? I'm a whole lot of wait and see because this coaching staff is new together. The head coach, it's his first stint on the it's his first time out, man. And he's not using anything that's out of the ordinary. So what edge do we have? I don't know. If he focuses on basic blocking and tackling, I think we've got something there. If he focuses on a pressure defense, I think we've got something there. Absent that, I don't know. It's going to be a long season. So, Octavio Arias says, people feel entitled and don't find a way to achieve their goals, so they turn to something that differentiates them from other people, like race. But my question is, why, when I mentioned Trump, did you all turn after a fashion to race? Because no, only a handful of you have kept up the Donald Trump buying the Oakland Raiders part of my conversation, which is where we started. The rest of you have the rest of you have consistently mentioned race. I'm just asking, okay? I'm just asking. And Kurt Fuller says, I didn't think of race when you brought him up tonight. Oh boy, buffering again. Sorry about that. Hey, if you're having a buffering problem, let me put this up. Buffering. Restart your computer or close other applications. Restart your computer or close other applications, okay? Now, Patrick M. Blackman says Trump buying the Raiders would be bad business. Why, Patrick? And that's right behind Donald Trump buying the Raiders might be the greatest thing ever. We have, I mean, look at this, folks. This is how polarized this is, all right? We've got John Marks, Donald Trump buying the Raiders might be the greatest thing ever. Patrick M. Blackman, Trump buying the Raiders would be the bad business. I mean, can you get a better juxtaposition of opposing views? I mean, look at that. I mean, look at that. And Kurt first, does any man catch you on the flip side? This isn't working good for me tonight. Hey, Kurt, just restart, all right? 831 Scott says the reason people gravitate toward race is because of the things Trump has done, attack Muslims, Mexicans, and not rise up and say what happened in Charlottesville was horrible and cannot be tolerated. Kurt Flirt, yeah, cool, all right. So yeah, Kurt, do that, and I guarantee you it'll clear it up, because if you have iTunes or some other music app open, anything else that competes with your YouTube page for use of your internet signal, for want of a better term, or bandwidth, for want of a better term, that's a large part of the problem, okay? Because it's taking your RAM, your random access memory, all right? And you need to free up that RAM. So John Marks is on his iPad, yeah. Ivan3600 says, how about Mark Zuckerberg? I like the idea. Mark Zuckerberg buying the Raiders. I like that idea. I really do. Except that, see, Donald Trump wants to own an NFL team. He's tried twice with the Journals. He tried to buy the Bills, but was rebuffed. So what better candidate than the Raiders for Donald Trump? I'm just saying. Again, is anybody out there on Twitter? I haven't heard an answer to this. Barry Lee is gone. Barry Lee is gone. He's normally the only other active person on Twitter. Who else is out there other than myself that's on Twitter? Give me a yes, please. Give me a yes. Give me a yes. Octavia says, Trump, white male businessman with German heritage, no social values. I don't know about that. John Mark says, look, what Donald Trump did when he bought the New Jersey Journals in the night, yeah, exactly. He ran them into the ground, which means he'll want another bite at the apple. Octavia says, Apple should buy the Raiders. I like the idea of that. I do like the idea of that. Patrick M. Blackman says, if he wasn't president, he would stand a better chance of owning a team. Let his family do it, you know? Let his family do it. And, whoops. I said invest in Catherine Bach. Let me take that down. That's not at all what I meant. That's funny. Maybe I had a Freudian kind of thing there. What would that be? A Freudian slip, right? Call it a Freudian slip? Yeah, Freudian slip. It's 102. I'm going to stop at 130. Invest. So far we had Kurt investing for the first time. For the first time tonight. So we had, let's see here. Yeah. For the first time. Ms. Zeitgeist is here. Ms. Zeitgeist says, there's a long list of pro athletes that are saying they will boycott Trump and refuse to stay in any of his hotels. I'm afraid if Trump owned the Raiders, it would make people do the same. You know what, Ms. Zeitgeist, I actually didn't think about that, but you're right. There is that possibility. But what if he were made to make amends? What if owning the Raiders was a parting gift for leaving office? You know, I'm just spinning a thought here. Like, you know, the kind of parting gifts you got after you played one of the game shows that came on during the mid-'80s, right? Something like that, you know? Don Pardo, tell us what the parting gifts are, you know, that sort of thing, right? Well, Zenny, the Oakland Raiders. We just want you to pay a discount price. Right? So, I'm having fun with it. I'm having so much fun with this. So, Aaron Blakelock, John Mark says, Mark Zuckerberg is a great man to own the Oakland Raiders. Schwarzenegger. Yeah, right. Aaron Blaylock says, maybe we should start a campaign aimed at reaching out to local billionaires with the idea of buying the team. I like the idea of that. Ms. Zeitgeist says, if I had to pick anyone to own the Raiders, it would be Ronnie Lott. I like the idea. Patrick M. Blackman says, right now, anything associated with Donald Trump is bad business. Did I read that correctly? Yep. He said anything. Yeah. So, Ms. Zeitgeist got that one. 831 Scott says, it would be a sad day if Trump bought the Raiders. Oakland would have a bunch of Confederate flags waving violent fans in the stadium. Actually, it wouldn't, because those are violated in the stadium. You cannot bring any form of hate speech. That's actually part of the rules. You can't do that. So, nope, sorry. Not at all. Nope, not at all. And I believe that Trump, upon buying the Raiders, will revert to the Donald Trump who, in 2015, said that Confederate symbols should be relegated to museums. He said that in 2015. It's on camera. He said that, okay? Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Just asking. Have you seen it? EA Sports should buy the Raiders. Or Ice Cube. I like that idea, Ms. Zeitgeist. Wait a minute. Ms. Zeitgeist, 85? Are you Amy Trask? Anyway, I'm just... Your tone sounds very NFL professional. I'm just... Anyway. Yeah, yeah. Ms. Zeitgeist says, nope. Which means you are! You are! Just kidding. 831 Scott wants me to show. Okay. Oh, you have no power in your place? What? Barry Lee is suffering. Barry Lee has no power. Flashlight? Hold on a second. Donald, I'm trying to type this evidence I said I was going to get for you. Confederate flag museum. Boom. There it is. I have found it. I have found it. I have found it. Here it is. Okay, right here. Here we go.
Ready? Okay. When we say study, you say hall. Study. Hall. Everything you need to ready, set.
I can't get rid of that commercial. I was trying. Hold on a second. Now here it is. All right, here we go.
You're the lone Republican presidential candidate who has
yet to weigh in on whether or not you think the Confederate flag should be flying above the State House in South Carolina. Do you think it needs to go?
I think it probably does, and I think they should put it in the museum, let it go, respect whatever it is that you have to respect because it was a point in time, and put it in a museum. But I would take it down, yes.
There you go. See? Ta-da! All right. I like that music. And I've got to get some Zenny 62 music like that, right? Sounds pretty good in stereo. Sounds really good in stereo. I like that. Magic Johnson would be fantastic. Raider Guy, this is a serious question. What's up, Barry Lee? So, referring to the stream title, would Trump buying the Raiders mean he would still relocate them? I mean, he has a Trump Tower in Vegas, and he already said Oakland is the most dangerous city in America. Ivan, that's a very good question, but the idea would be to maintain them in Oakland and basically that's the whole point is, hey, look, it can't work in Vegas. You have to spend oogabs of money. Sheldon Adelson's already mad at you for the way you ran the White House. He's not going to help you out with the money. Use your own money. Keep them in Oakland. You've got all the hotel land around. You don't have to worry about parking or anything else. You can build on the land. You can build new Trump hotels. You can establish a new way forward for your brand right here in Oakland. A new positive way forward with the Raiders. That's the idea. How you like my sales pitch? I think I sound pretty good delivering it. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. So now, Jordan Yancey says he should have. Magic should have brought should buy the Raiders. I like that. I like that. I like that. Barry Lee says he has an hour or so. Folks, Barry Lee is in Texas, in San Antonio. He says, and 1 hour so far without power. And they are predicting 12 to 15 inches of rain here in Seguin, Texas, Saturday and Sunday because of Hurricane Harvey. Hey, Barry, our prayers are with you. Folks, our Barry Lee, first purchaser of the Zinni 62 logo shirt and friend to the show and me, is in Seguin, Texas, bracing for the hurricane. Hey, Barry, are you able to go someplace else for shelter? I mean, what's the situation there? I'm just curious. Just curious. Just want to take a little bit of a turn and talk to Barry, because that's a serious situation there, and not too far away. So I'm just curious to know what you're going through. That's seriously, Barry. Do you have duct tape? Duct tape. I have duct tape here. I can see you, so I can get some free duct tape to you. Duct tape, and I'm not saying this to be funny. Duct tape is great for keeping water out, developing a seal. All right. I mean, duct tape is fantastic. All right. Barry Lee says, yeah, I will be leaving my RV if we get tropical storm force winds. Okay. And yeah, praying for you, Barry. Praying for you, Barry. Definitely. Well, Barry, maybe you should leave before you get tropical storm force winds, don't you think? I mean, don't you think if you know that's going to come, you maybe just like get out of there instead of waiting to open your door and like, oh my God, the wind is blowing. You know what I mean? I think that's a better idea. I think you're better off getting out now, right? Okay. Mick Rice said, what did he say? Joe Flacco will be ready by week 1. Okay, fine. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Barry Lee says, a good idea. I think I'll leave Friday night. Yeah, I think you need to get out of Dodge. I don't think you need to wait until tropical storm force winds are right up on you. Okay? Get out of there. Barry Strong, as John Marks has just hashtagged, folks. For those of you who can't see the chat, Barry Lee, as I said, is in Seguin, Texas, in the path of the storm to come. Get out of there, man. Go see your folks. Yeah, definitely. Go see your folks. And so, Ms. Zeitgeist says, Trump has been on both sides of every issue. As recently as 2014, he supported single-payer health care. He sure did. Now, he wants Paul Ryan's health care plan, which sucks so bad even Republicans hate it. Yeah, it's like Trump says anything that he knows will get attention. If it's, oh, I want single-payer, he'll say that. If it's, oh, take the Confederate flag down, he'll say that. Oh, if it's keep it up, he'll say that. It's like, wow. It's about him getting attention. It's not about the country. It's not about making America better or great again. America's already great. It's about him getting attention. It really is. And so, got Barry Lee says, good idea. I think I'll leave Friday night. Barry Strong. Rick Rice says, hello to you. Barry Lee says, oh, I'm sorry, Barry, about your folks. Barry said he would like to see his folks if they hadn't passed away. My prayers, man. Sorry. Wow. You taking off, Rick Rice? Nah, good evening. I'll see you. All right. Barry Lee's dad passed away in 79. His mom in 2013. My mom is here. My heart, man. My heart. Joseph Brimman says, hence him always being talking about Trump. 831 Scott says, speaking of not seeing the chat, why doesn't YouTube fix it so that you can see chats if you missed the live stream? I hate that. You know, that came up, 831 Scott, at the YouTube Creator Day. And one woman had a workaround to that, but her result of the workaround caused these fonts that were so small, you couldn't easily read them. So I didn't bother doing that. But I will run that up the flagpole. So, John Marks says, Mr. Marks happens to be both my father and grandfather. Wow. John Marks says, Karl Marx might be related to me. Karl Marx! Are you a socialist? What are you? I'm just kidding. That voice is an old commercial that came on about what you could learn at the public library. And it had different voices behind these characters that represented famous figures in history like Albert Einstein. And one of them is Karl Marx, and it said, Karl Marx! So I saw that when I was maybe 9 years old in Chicago, and obviously it never left my head. So, and here I am, 55 years old. So that's where I got that from. So if you see me do that again, you know where it came from. You can blame Chicago. You can blame, I believe, the Museum of Chicago History Museum. Yeah. So, I believe that was it. No, Museum of Science and Industry. Yeah. So, no. One of the museums, whatever. Rick Rice says, yeah, I hate that too. You replay it and there's a clean slate. Yeah. Pedro says, and I get you, Pedro. I get you. Barry Lee says, I hate that ad that pops up for Kit Kat and says, internet break, have a Kit Kat. Where did that come from? Boy, that is the definition of left field. That is the quintessential definition of left field, okay? Where did that come from? Where did that come from? I don't know. Okay, all right. Well, you lost me with that one. All right. So, so yeah. So, oh, it interrupted my live stream? Oh, the commercial did? Money! Woo! Buy me another place of that Kit Kat bar. Cha-ching! Got it. All right. John Davis didn't see it. I didn't see it either. And Rick Rice says, makes me want to eat a Kit Kat really bad. You know what? It makes me want to have Kit Kat as a sponsor. Ding! John Marks says, have you seen WGN version of Creature Features? I have not yet. Not yet. Invest. Hey, by the way, even if you are only able to invest $2 in the Zenny 62 Media, it's $2 I don't have. Please, join us. Invest. Thank you. Rick Rice says he doesn't get any ads on the live stream. If you happen to have to restart it, you'll get an ad. Yeah. Barry Lee says, so it makes me want to go out because it's annoying. I don't get to pick the commercials. They just come up. But hey, I'll take Kit Kat. And let's see here. I'm getting, that's hilarious. We've got, you got it. Okay, you got it. So remember, folks, this weekend we've got Mayweather versus McGregor. Conor McGregor, who is not really racist, just some people think he is because he's Irish, which I think is sad. And then Conor McGregor doesn't exactly help himself by making stupid statements that make him sound racist, right? Should be interesting nonetheless. Falcons open their new stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Saturday night, 7 o'clock here in Georgia. It's sold out. I'm not going. Unless I get something close to a free ticket, maybe. So, invest. You know, I will only go if someone sent me and said, Zinni, hey, there you are. If investors said, hey, Zinni, do a live stream at the new Mercedes-Benz Dome, and then maybe 10 of you invested $10 each, Boom. I'd go. Easy peasy, okay? I'd go. So, Barry Lee says, I'd have to go. Battery's getting low and I still have no power. Barry, hey man, Barry, get out of there. Go to Safe Haven tomorrow. I don't want to hear that you stuck around on Saturday and opened the door to tropical wind force winds, tropical storm force winds, and something worse happened, okay? Get out of there, man. Good night, Barry. And let's see here. TMT Nate Diaz already making McGregor look bad. Imagine what Mayweather's going to do to him. Ooh. Octavius, a circus fight. Rick Rice says, hey Zinster, what do you think the odds are that we get Alden Smith back sometime this season? Poor. Not that it won't happen, but poor. But I think, but still, the dream pairing is Alden Smith and Khalil Mack, isn't it? And then can you imagine Alden Smith and Khalil Mack on the same side in a 46 defense? That's Compton and Long Beach together, and you know we got trouble. All right, that would be something else. I would pay buku bucks to see that. Ooh boy. So I will do some research on that and see what the possibility of Alden Smith coming back this season is, and not only that, what the status of Alden Smith coming back this season is. I know one thing: it's a better chance than Donald Trump buying the Oakland Raiders. I know that. So yeah, John Marks is doing his "You Bet Your Last Money It's All Going to Be a Stone Gas," but he's a little early. You're about 9 minutes off, my friend. Rick Rice says Nate Diaz beat Conor McGregor twice. And John Davis says, thanks for saving the last of your battery to watch Zinni. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And by the way, as I haven't mentioned it before, Chris Late was the first to buy. Kooksnap bought. Let me show you what he did. Okay, I'm talking about. Let me show you what he did. Let me show you what he did. Let me show you what he did. This is worth celebrating again and again and again. Is that it? I think that's it. Hold on a second. Right. That is it. This is it. Ta-da. Christopher Layton. Okay. There's the blog post. And there's what he did right there. He bought the I Digress t-shirt. Let me play that for you. Okay. Full screen. Ah, come on. Man. There it is. This is the t-shirt that he bought. It's by But I Digress, Zinni62 on YouTube. Alright? You can get it at Teespring. You can go to Zinni62.com, go over to the right, scroll down, click on the t-shirt, and you can buy it. That's what he did. So let me go to the smaller one. This is trying to play this video. A little slow to play. There. Here. Okay.
Hey, I saw this on Twitter. Thank you, Christopher Layton Kooksnap, for buying this version of the Zinni62 t-shirt series. But I Digress saying that I have a habit of using when I make my videos and I go off topic for a bit. So Chris said, got my Zinni62 shirt today, but I don't digress. Laugh out loud. Forever Oakland. 66 mob. Which I will actually, right here, like and then retweet. So if you want to get your own version of this shirt, all you have to do is go to Zinni62.com right here, and I'll to my blog, main blog. Got 96 of them. And as it opens up, there it's opening. And then go down here to the sidebar on the right, which is, and there it is. See? And you click on that one. This one is another shirt I made called Racism is a Mental Illness. But if you click on that, the page opens up that shows you the 3 shirts I have available for purchase right now at Teespring. See? Teespring.com/stores/Zenny62. And there they are. There's the logo, and there are the shirts. And this is Racism as a Mental Illness, but I digress, in the Zenny62 logo. And there's more to come in different designs very soon. But thanks, Christopher Layton, for purchasing the shirt and being a great investor as well, as he invested last night. See you all on the live stream, and subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube. Thank you.
There you go, folks. Coke Snipe comes through. Thank you very much. I still have to send them as shares. Tonight I'll do that. Tonight I'll do that. All right. Rick Rice says, did you guys hear about the Barstool Sports towels with Goodell's face on them? They bought 70,000 of them so everyone in the stadium would get one. Goodell's going to be at the game too. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Pedro says, Rick Rice, Zeke got suspended for 6 games. Alden got in more trouble, so nothing more troublemakers won't help. 831 Scott says, no, John Davis says, Alden Smith was supposed to be suspended for 1 year, but I thought it was an appeal. 831 Scott says, I think it's going to be a boring fight. I think Connor's going to keep pressing, trying to land a haymaker, and Floyd's just going to dance and score points. Mayweather in a landslide. John Marks informs us that the winner in Powerball was in Massachusetts. Yeah, I only got the 4. I got the Powerball. I got $4. Oh, somebody won't let money. It's fixed. I bet you the person that won it. It was fixed for that person in Massachusetts to win it. It better not be somebody in a rich area. Then it's really fixed, okay? Yeah, I'm saying it. I said it before. Hey, Sean Grogan, how are you? And good evening. Hey, Bernard543, how are you? How are you? Bernard says, Connor gonna win because Mayweather said he's gonna try and knock him out. Okay. Hey, you're aware, I'm making you aware we've got 4 minutes. Because I started just a little late before around 9. This is about 90-minute show right now. Yeah, 92 minutes. But last night was an epically long night, so I need rest. And so Bernard, are you predicting right here that Conor McGregor is going to knock out Floyd Mayweather? Is that what you're telling me? That McGregor is going to land a haymaker on Mayweather? Is that what you're saying? Now, Bernard says, I'm doing good, Zenny. Hope everything was well. It is. It's you guys really have been a cornerstone of everything right now. You guys have really helped a great deal, to say the least. So, Nathan Elliott says, Trump doesn't need to buy the team. Bankruptcy isn't something that this team needs. But here's my point. Donald Trump has already been that route in pro football. This is his second chance to make things right. That's what I'm saying. All right? So, yeah. Ivan says, can Alden take the case to court? I'll find out. Bernard says, yes, Conor is younger and faster. Bernard says that Conor McGregor is going to beat Floyd Mayweather. Let me repeat that, folks. Let me repeat that, everybody. Bernard 543 here on Zenny62 live vlog says that Conor McGregor is going to beat Floyd Mayweather. To which I say, yeah, okay. Excuse me, yeah. Oh, hi, hey, how are you? Hi. Yeah, right. Okay. Now, am I going to be vlogging the flight or watching it? I'm going to do a vlog about it. I don't have it on to watch it. I'm going to investigate some angles, but I'll definitely be holding a live stream about it, yeah. Rick Rice says, going to be a boring fight. Both are counterpunchers. John Davis says, Trump ruins everything he touches. Talking about Trump buying the Raiders. Crawford371 says, is that laugh when the owners voted? That's the same laugh. Yes, that's the same laugh. That is the same laugh, absolutely. Good night, Ivan. Ivan 3600 says good night. Good night. It is 1:29, everybody. I am going to sleep land. But first I'm going to have some ice cream. Yes! Chocolate ice cream with chocolate sauce. Yes! I can't wait. Woo! All right. See you all tomorrow, Thursday. Tomorrow, Thursday. We can go back to somewhat normal business. But you gotta admit, this was a lively talk, wasn't it? Did you guys like this angle? Just let me know. I'm just, just curious. What'd you think? What'd you think? Thank you. It is. You can bet your last money it's all gonna be a stone gas, honey. Just ask Donald Trump when he buys the Raiders. Did you guys like that? They hated it. He loved right there when Scott loved it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all. Like I said, I can't not be anywhere without even your investments of $2. That'd be fantastic. Thank you. John Mark says, but you can bet your last money it's all going to be a stone gas, honey. And it is 1:30, and I am out. Good night, everybody. I'll see you. Thank you.